Hey guys, almost a year ago I made this what if and a lot of you have requested part 2. I thought I would remake part 1 as well and then merge part 1 and 2 into this what if to make this full movie. I hope you all enjoy and may the force be with you. Anakin Skywalker's love for Padme is one of the biggest reasons he turned to the dark side. The thought of her dying in childbirth plucked at every heartstring in Anakin. He turned to the Jedi Council for guidance, to which he was only granted their dogmatic and unrealistic views. Ultimately, she dies anyway, and Anakin's anger swells beyond recognition. Thus, he becomes Darth Vader and well, the rest is history. But what if, instead of Padme succumbing to death, she lives after giving birth to Luke and Leia? Our scene begins on Mustafar. Padme is back with Anakin, trying to talk some sense into him.
You're a good person, don't
She pleads for Anakin to leave everything else behind and go to Naboo to raise their children. Anakin was not listening and shunted her thoughts to the side.
Liar!
He was fixed on taking control of the galaxy and ruling for an eternity. As Anakin looks up, he sees his old master Obi-Wan staring down in disappointment. Anakin's emotions quickly change to rage. He remembers everything Obi-Wan did to him, how he never believed in him his entire life and held him back from his true potential. He turns and blocks Padme's airway, choking her unconscious. So everything has stayed the same so far. Anakin and Obi-Wan fight, Obi-Wan wins, Anakin is turned into Darth Vader. Now we go to Padme giving birth. She screams in agonizing pain as her children Luke and Leia are born. And now, instead of losing the will to live, she sees her children for the first time and has something to live for, something to fight for. She knows she can get Anakin back. He can't be lost forever. But suddenly, a loud crash and bang hits the station they are on. Obi-Wan and Yoda look up and worry, wondering what has happened. They see a battalion of clones storming the station, displaying no mercy for any lives they see. At the back, Lord Vader and Emperor Palpatine stand, marching towards them ready to engage in battle. Yoda leaps at Palpatine, and this time he is determined not to lose. They start in a duel, their blades moving so swiftly, locking arms with one another. Obi-Wan staggered. He had never seen such ferocity between the swipes of red and green flashes. But he focuses on knowing the battle he has in front of him. Vader looks down in anger. His emotions are boiling. He blames Obi-Wan for what has happened to him. Vader ignites his blade and attacks. Yoda and Palpatine continue to swing their lightsabers like there was no tomorrow. Neither could gain any leverage, their abilities equally matched. Palpatine switched off his blade and put the saber back up his sleeve where it came from. He raised his hands and shot bolts of lightning at Yoda, who raised his hands and defended, absorbing the blasts. Obi-Wan was taking quick looks, amazed at the skill level that both fighters held. The two duels went on for a long time, with no one being able to gain an upper hand. Obi-Wan was beginning to tire until he looked over his shoulder. He saw Padme standing, looking over in horror. The two duels stopped, Yoda and Obi-Wan fixated on what was going to happen next. "Padme," Vader says. He was stunned to see her alive. He thought she was dead. Vader looked over at Palpatine, his rage growing by the second, swelling by every moment he looked over at his new master.
You told me she was dead. You lied to me.
Palpatine stood there calculating what to do next. Vader waited for no such calculations and rushed at Palpatine, reigniting his blade. Palpatine cackled as he approached, shooting Sith lightning at the newly Sith Lord, but Yoda jumped in front, raising his hands to block. This time, Palpatine called on two lightsabers from his sleeves, and the battle began. Vader and Yoda working together for the same goal, the end of Palpatine. Obi-Wan stayed back, looking on in shock and horror. The Sith Lord and Jedi Master were too much for Palpatine, and Vader gave the finishing blow, beheading the Emperor. Together, they stared at the corpse on the ground. Padme raced up to Anakin, whom she thought was still her husband.
Anakin, stop now. Come back. I love you.
This time, he listened. He understood the lies and deception that Palpatine had manipulated into his mind all these years. He was the reason that all this happened. He was the reason Anakin was receiving visions of Padme dying. He was the reason he believed she was dead. Anakin, what have you done?
You ruined everything.
Obi-Wan cried at him. Standing there, tears flooded Kenobi's face. He mounted the hilt of his lightsaber to his belt. The time for this, it is not. Rebuild the Jedi Order we must. Together, the four of them went back to Coruscant, where they found thousands of Anakin's victims lying on the ground. It was years of dedication and sorrow before Anakin truly redeemed himself. Even though he could not be fully healed, they built him another suit that was far more sustainable. One where his head could show and his asthmatic breathing was subdued. Luke and Leia will be welcomed into the Jedi Order, where Yoda himself would train them to become some of the most powerful Jedi Knights known in the galaxy. The horrors of the past were over, and the Jedi were back protecting those in the galaxy. Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. And as always, have a good day everyone.